Call the meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone, for coming tonight. Are there any comments or statements from anyone in the public? Tony?
Good evening, everyone. I was just wondering, do you guys have more time right now to propose a different budget or change the, the budget that's on the table now? Maybe to ask for more?
On the action agenda, under item E, I see budget fiscal year 12 for town review. I think the budget comes up at that point.
Okay. All right, thank you.
All right, thank you. Anyone else? Okay. Informational agenda, student rep.
We did get a letter from the student rep that has been coming on and off to these meetings that it's hitting that time of the year where they're finding it hard to come. So he was going to try to get somebody else to do it. So he will not be here. However, tonight, just for FYI, I do have a student that's been following me around all day from the Villager. So you will see Megan Walsh hanging around, trailing me every place I go. And taking pictures again. So, just wanted to put that out.
Thank you. Thanks, Megan. Item B, monthly enrollment for February.
Again, we keep tracking the enrollment. We don't see a huge difference in terms of month to month. We still have that difference in the number of students. However, I do see that for next year we may have an issue, which is, I believe, going to be part of the pre-K and K enrollment. This year is kind of stable. We've got some kids coming in, some kids leaving, but for next year we have a very large, so far, what we consider fairly large enrollment of people who are registered for kindergarten. So I'll talk about that a little bit further on. But other than that, if you have any questions, I can talk a little bit about the attendance, and again, that hasn't.
I just wonder, and I'm sure it wouldn't be part of the natural report format, but is there any indication where those new students are coming from? I know we have some new building permits in town. Off of Briggs Road, there's some nice family-style housing, and it continues to be, although it's at ebb, new housing starts in Westport. There is new families moving into town. There is new students entering the school system. Are they typically at the younger ages and stay on, or do we happen to know, are they moving in, or?
I have not asked that question.
I think part of it is certainly the housing development, just because of when they all kind of came into being. But I think, from time to time, you just get one of those bubble classes. We have it in 4th grade right now, and I, see it coming up. Looking at the amount of people that have enrolled for preschool at this point, it looks like those numbers are down. So it looks like the year after next kindergarten will probably be much lower.
And if you take a look at grade level by grade level, you can see there's some ups and downs as we go through the grade levels. 4th grade is one of those. Now, we could certainly try to triangulate based on their address as to whether there's more students coming from those new developments, but we haven't looked at that. It's something we can do.
And I'll also look into getting some information from the Southeast Regional Economic Planning and Development Agency, which forecasts that the town of Westport is going to see significant impact from
You're
growth
talking
in town.
NESDEC?
SERPED. Southeast Regional Economic
Development.
Planning
And development.
And things such as a potential new rail coming in, new biotech park in Fall River, growth in New Bedford is being forecasted that it's going to continue to drive housing starts in Westport. And with that in mind, we're seeing a trend. We're seeing a trend at pre-K, and part of the responsibility is that these reports mean something to us, and we have to prepare for the future in making our schools a target for those families to want to move into Westport and meet our obligations. So as those new houses have been built in Westport, I certainly look forward to seeing the new students. It sounds like they're signing up.
They certainly are. The other thing we included with your packet is the school attending children. We had this approved, so we're bringing it to your attention, which basically shows how many students are in out-of-state homeschooled or in private schools. So we figured we'd get that information to you now. The homeschooled ones, I've met with just about every one of them. So I kind of have a little bit of personal knowledge about those. If you take a look also under vocational technical regional schools, you have the 133. There's mainly Diamond, with a few students going to Bristol Aggie. In fact, this year Bristol Aggie took more students than usual, which I think worked great for the kids who wanted to go there, and probably for the first time in a long time they had an opportunity to go to the VOTEC school, whereas we've always been limited because of our size related to Fall River. They take a lot more slots, and there's always some competition for the few slots that are left, so we only get a few, both to Bristol Aggie and to Diamond. So this year it was nice to see that there was a little bump in the Bristol Aggie, because there's programs that they have that there's no way we're ever going to be able to provide. So it's kind of nice to see that the kids who want those kind of programs for high school can actually have access to them. Questions on that?
Okay, item C, the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education.
That was
that.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
I kind of put them one back to back because they
Okay.
all have to deal with how many kids we have, where are they, and what are they doing.
Okay, thank you.
So if you have any
Item D, fiscal year 11 budget review.
This is the more short version, trying to save some paper. Right now, the part that we're trying to figure out is we do have some additional funding in the special ed tuition lines. Some of the students have come back, some students have moved, and we're no longer shouldering that responsibility. I know Melissa has been sitting with Ann's office and Dr. Condon to try to figure out, do we need to use any of that money this year, or can we use some of it to prepay tuitions for next year, which I was already counting for some of that money to help us balance the budget for next year. So it's already pretty much built in, but there may be even a little bit more additional. We just had one kid that we found out had moved. So now it becomes the responsibility of another state. But we'll see a little bit of a tuition break between now and the summer. There's a couple of let me be careful how I express this. There's a couple of cases where